Hello and welcome to Two Tiers Deep, the Women's Cricket Weekly Show, with me, Rosa Simpkin.
And me, Chloe Hill.
I'm the journalist working in all the tiers of women's cricket.
And I'm the cricketer currently playing in the game.
Welcome to the 2026 cricket season. This is the Two Tiers Deep podcast. Thank you so much for tuning in. Chloe, how are you?
I'm good, thank you. Cricket season's here, so yeah, really excited and really happy. How are you?
I'm good. We've been building up to this for a while now. I think we've been excited about the new season probably since November. So I'm so glad we are here.
Yeah, literally, cricket season has started off with a bang. We've had some hundreds, we've seen some fifers already, we've seen some loan players go on loan. And yeah, we've seen tier 1 and tier 2 kickstart, and it's time for tier 3 to kickstart this weekend.
First of all, we need to address you, Missy, because you had quite the opening game for Northants at the weekend.
Did I?
You did,
What
yeah.
happened?
Don't act all shy with your half century.
Yeah, no, it was a really good start to the season. I'll take a 50 on the first game of the season, to be honest with you. So really happy with that. And yeah, started the season off with a bit of a bang. So yeah, can't complain.
It was a bang. I was following along. I was at Glamorgan versus Gloucestershire. It's a bit concerning. I had to think about what game I was at then. It was 4 days ago. And the start was delayed, so we had you on in the commentary box and we were all cheering along. And it was great to see you guys start your campaign with a win.
Yeah, I don't know what happened. I think Northants must have just dodged all the rain possible, because I think all the other tier 2 games were delayed as well, looking at it, when we saw a few of the scorecards. But yeah, we lost the toss. We wanted to bowl first, but I'll tell you what, I'm very happy we lost the toss, because the wicket that Northants produced for us was an absolute road. A lovely hybrid, brand new deck, that I think neither team thought was going to play as well as it did. So I think after seeing our first score in that first innings, I think it was going to be a good chase for Kent, and they did put up a fight, to be honest with you.
Did you not have any rain at all?
We literally finished our 50 overs, we went for our tea, we're having food, the groundsman put covers on as a precaution, there was a tiny little bit of shower, delayed by 5 minutes from the restart, went back out, and then it was the last over or the last wicket we needed, and we got the last wicket. And as soon as we walked off the pitch to shake hands, the heavens opened. And when I mean the heavens opened, oh my goodness, they opened all right. But no, it was an absolutely fantastic day. And yeah, very pleased with how quickly I got off the mark.
I'm not sure how you managed that. I think that every other team would be very jealous because it was definitely rain elsewhere. My word, was it wet in Glamorgan. I'm not shout out to the ground staff, by the way, at Sapphire Gardens for getting the game on so quickly. I was walking to the ground. Can I add, it rained overnight, and when I was walking to the ground, as soon as I got to the ground, did not rain again. It got soaked for absolutely no reason. Um, but they got the game on really quickly, and we got 38 overs aside, and it was a great way to start the season. 4 complete games of cricket.
Yeah, I was really pleased to see that all 4 fixtures in Tier 2 went ahead. Obviously, with Yorkshire moving up now, it means we have an odd number in Tier 2. So each team 1 week will have a bye weekend, which meant Worcestershire, they had a bye weekend. This coming weekend, Northants have their bye. But how great is it to see all 4 games of cricket to be played? Obviously, a few a little bit rain affected. My game wasn't. But yeah, we got results in all of them, and the table has kicked off. We're ready to go.
Table has kicked off. Shall we have a look at how the table is looking after that opening tier 2 fixture? Fixtures. That wasn't only one game. We've already established that.
We shall. So we'll discuss a few more of the results in a little bit. But the table as it stands is Middlesex are at the top with 5 points because they got the bonus point. Northants in second with 4. Leicester in third. Glamorgan in fourth. Worcester haven't played a game, but they're somehow in fifth because they're on 0. But Gloucestershire's sixth because they lost. Sussex seventh. Kent eighth. And Derby ninth. That is how the table is looking after the first round.
It is indeed. And for a little bit more details, it was a win for Middlesex versus Derbyshire, a win for Glamorgan versus Gloucestershire, a win for Leicestershire versus Sussex, and a win, of course, for Northants against Kent. What we love to see.
What a start to the season. I'm already eager for the next game now. But we've obviously got a bye this weekend. So we've got an inter-squad T20 games because obviously the following Sunday is the start of the FA Cup, we like to call it. The County Cup starts. So I'd say it's actually quite a nice period for us to sort of now just focus on T20 for the next 2 weekends.
Best competition in women's cricket is the FA Cup. But shall we have a look at the Tier 1 One Day Cup? Because we've had 2 rounds already there.
So looking at the Tier 1 table after 2 rounds, we've got Surrey in first place on 9 points, Hampshire in second, Lancashire third, Somerset fourth, Blaze fifth, Durham sixth, Warwickshire 7, Essex 8, and Yorkshire sadly at the bottom in ninth place.
I love the hesitation there because we're all still adjusting to the fact that there are now 9 teams in Tier 1 and Tier 2. So you probably will have to bear with us for a few weeks as we get used to that. I mean, I was messaging friend of the pod, Marie Kelly, before the opening fixtures on the Sunday, and I was about to wish her luck. And then I realised they don't have a game. They kick their campaign off on Wednesday because, as we've said, every team, there'll be a team around that have a bye round. In round one, it was an easy win for Lancashire against Durham. Hampshire beat Essex by 5 wickets. Somerset won by 1 wicket in a ridiculously close game in Taunton against Yorkshire. And Surrey women beat Warwickshire by 52 runs.
And in round two, there was no result against Warwickshire and Hampshire after Warwickshire posted a mammoth total of 354 for 7. The Blaze won by 6 runs on DLS against Lancashire. Surrey won by 3 wickets against Yorkshire. And Durham beat Essex by 23 runs after a magnificent century from their overseas.
They did indeed. And we had some really exciting cricket amongst that. I think if you didn't have your eyes drawn to the Yorkshire Somerset game on Saturday, what were you doing? It was ridiculous. It was genuinely ridiculous. Somerset looked in complete control, and then there was an absolute fight back from Yorkshire. And Sophie Luff, my word.
Yeah, you talk about a captain's knock and being calm under pressure, and she absolutely dealt with that. Um, Yorkshire somehow brought the fight to that innings and trying to, I guess, get their first win in Tier 1 after making their stand in Tier 2 last year. But no, Somerset obviously were able to get over the line by 1 wicket, which was a thrilling result.
I think it's safe to say that it wouldn't have been the start Yorkshire wanted to their Tier 1, their life in Tier 1 with 2 losses. I don't think that tells the complete story. They've really struggled with bat in hand across both games. But that game against Somerset, right down to the wire, it was lost on a dropped catch on the final ball. So it really could have gone both ways. And then we had the game yesterday against Surrey, which looked like it was going to be a ridiculous slaughtering when Surrey were about 111 for 1 from 10 overs. But again, the Yorkshire bowlers showed a real fight back.
Yeah, I was watching that game yesterday. I was flicking between all the games, to be honest, being a cricket badger as I am. And yeah, put on the Surrey live stream to see Paige Schofield like completely smashing it out the park. And I think Surrey at one stage were after 12 overs, 100 plus on the board, looking like they were going to chase it down in the next couple of overs. And then there was just a few cluster of wickets, which made it slightly entertaining. But the cool, calm head of ADR and Callie Moore when she came in, sort of composed at the crease for Surrey to naturally get over the line, which they should have done anyway in the position they were in.
I feel like I owe Paige Schofield an apology, as for those who don't know Hypercourse on X, the absolute statistician, the goat of statisticians in women's cricket, we were having a lot of interactions with each other as I was trying to work out what the record century was, and I definitely cursed her in doing that. So apologies to Paige, but it was quite the knock.
Yeah, she looked so unstoppable there, and Fair play to Maddie Ward coming on and getting 2 wickets and 2 balls to sort of unsteady that ship for Surrey. But no, like we say, ADR and Callie Moore at the crease were able to get Surrey over the line, and then Priyana's Chatterjee coming in at the end to assist ADR. I think that was a comfortable victory in the end, even though Surrey did lose 7 wickets.
I do want to touch on Yorkshire a little bit more, though, in two areas. There's going to be a lot of Yorkshire talk this week, neither of which for bad reason on their part. First of all, 2 losses to start the campaign. Yorkshire are struggling slightly. I don't think that was surprising. I've seen a lot of discourse on social media in the journalism realm and also in the fan realm about how they're doing on the pitch. And I honestly think it was inevitable. And I say that not because they've not got a good team, because you've got a group of players, a load of youngsters who don't have much professional experience, combined with some real seasoned pros who have professional experience, but most vitally have spent majority of a year out of professional cricket. They've been playing at a non-professional level for a year. There is a gap in tier two between tier two and tier one. We know that. If we had 9 tier two teams that were at the same standard as tier one, there wouldn't be a tier two. And I think people need to back off Yorkshire slightly and give them a bit of time to build back up to the pro level. It's an adjustment. It's a real adjustment.
Yeah, I think obviously in tier two we saw them sort of go out there and, in quotations, I say, sort of bully it a little bit with the bat against oppositions, and I guess some grounds that were played in tier two last year. And I guess if I say Derbyshire probably got the wrong end of the stick against Yorkshire last year, so they're probably glad to see them move into tier one. But I suppose if you actually look at their team yesterday, the likes of Lauren Winfield-Hill, Georgie Boyce, Jess Jonathan, Stair Callis, Amy Campbell, Beth Langston, those 6 players are all experienced pros and have been there or thereabouts at the top of the game for a long period now. So I think they now need to start. I know obviously they've had a season out, but quite a lot of the players have gone abroad, but they now need to start working out that balance correctly in the team, because they've certainly got the players to compete in tier one, and some really, really exciting youngsters coming through. I know Claudie Cooper's been fantastic with the ball for Yorkshire across the tier two campaign, and she started off the season fantastic for them last week. So I think when they get going, it's going to be exciting. But obviously at the moment, just a few teething problems.
100%. And one of the players who has stepped up, in fairness, in the first 2 games was Lauren Winfield-Hill. And she's been the topic of quite a lot of social media attention after an umpiring decision yesterday. If you haven't seen it, she was given out caught behind. It didn't hit her back. It hit her kind of on her neck, would you say?
Yeah, it looked like sort of skimmed the side of her helmet, sort of just above the stand guard sort of area.
There wasn't much of an appeal from anyone, I think it's safe to say, in Surrey colours. She was given out. Am I saying that her reaction was acceptable as a captain of that team? No. She picked up, for those who don't know, 2 level ones for dissent and also 5 penalty runs to Surrey. It probably wasn't an acceptable reaction, but I think you've also got to consider the context in that game and the fact that Lauren was under a lot of pressure and is under a lot of pressure consistently as their captain to perform. And she was the set batter at that stage and was really their only chance of going on to a big total. Dissent is not acceptable. I'm not saying it is, but you've got to look at it in balance, I think.
Yeah, 100%. I don't really know how to word it much more than how you've said, really. But I think obviously the reaction as a captain and a leader that she's got and the experience behind her, I think in hindsight she knows better. And but we all get high in emotions, especially in a professional environment, and in those situations where she was the set batter. And I think you just get frustrated that decisions go against you when you know you certainly haven't hit it, and in realistically it should have been a concussion check from the physio. And I don't know. Hopefully, things have been dealt with after the game, and maybe the umpire has in question has been able to watch the decision back, and hopefully, moving forward, we won't see things like that happen again.
100%. But the thing I actually really want to touch on regarding it isn't the incident itself, it's the reaction to the incident and the social media storm its course towards Lauren, and also some of the headlines in Yorkshire local news about the incident. Commentary, I'm going to quote what the commentary said because it was pretty damning. I don't want to get it wrong. The commentary said she is cranky as hell here, Winfield-Hill, as she was leaving the field. And I think it points to a wider issue, is that if Lauren Winfield-Hill was a male player or a Johnny Bairstow, would there be as much of a response to how she reacted? And in all honesty, I don't think there would be. And I think it's an issue we see continuously for women in sport when emotion is shown on the pitch. And that is that women are held to higher standards. And as soon as women show any emotion, immediately words like cranky and petulant are thrown out by the media. And it's a real problem. And it's one that we really need to try to shift away from.
Yeah, completely agree. And I think we've got to start looking at it as it's cricket. It's not genderized to male and female, and their personalities and the perception on them. It's cricket at the end of the day, and I guess we're still working there to for everyone to be treated as an equal, and hopefully one day I guess we'll get there. But certainly a big learning curve for everyone involved, I think.
Shall we have a talk about something that made Rosa much happier at the weekend, which was the coaching situation? As we've already said, I was at Glamorgan versus Gloucestershire, where Fran Wilson was head coach of Gloucestershire and Rachel Priest was head coach of Glamorgan, two players who've played together in the KSL. And it genuinely was so lovely and so refreshing to see two powerhouse women leading these teams and so actively involved in their teams and players. And we need more of it.
Yeah, it's always great to see female leading from the front, especially in women's sport. And yeah, what a lovely day to have two ex-players coaching against each other in sort of, I guess, a little derby game really for Gloucestershire and Glamorgan because obviously Gloucestershire feed into Glamorgan's academy. So yeah, really lovely day to have two top female coaches, I guess, earning their stripes at the top level until tier two. Yeah, coaching against each other and how great it is that I guess the commentary team and yourself were able to see that in person and sort of put a big smile on everyone's face as well.
It really did. And also, do you know who else was there, Chloe?
Oh, who else was there? Give me a clue.
Our old friend, our old England head coach, John Lewis, was in attendance at the game for Gloucestershire and was very involved pre-game. He was helping with the warm-ups and he was very much there, I think, as an additional coach as opposed to a director of cricket. And it's great to see him getting back involved
Yeah,
in
love
the
that.
playing side of the game.
Love that. What a little surprise that is to throw out there. That's really nice to hear. Obviously, his experiences when he was England women's coach was a bit of a roller coaster of emotions. But to hear he's getting back into it, obviously, as a director of cricket at Gloucestershire, to now, I guess, sort of make sure he has that influence on the women's side as well. That's really refreshing to hear and hopefully really rewarding for the girls going forward in the future as well.
It's really exciting as well to have someone who was such a monumental figure in the professional women's game, so involved in the tier two game, because I think that's one of the ways that we can really further enhance it and grow it is by having good coaching. And it's an increasing factor, and we are seeing it.
100%. Yeah, what more could you ask for someone who's coached at the top level to now be assisting tier two, which is hopefully feeding into tier one in a few years' time to create some new young England players in 5, 10 years' time. And to have someone in at a tier two level at that level that he is, I think it's so fantastic. And hopefully, Gloucestershire can go well. Obviously, not too well when they play against Northants, but go well.
I mean, before we move on to our teams of the weeks, which I'm so excited is back, it's how you know you're in the cricket season. We both struggled by the way, we do need to talk about quite a large contingent of players who were not available for round two of the Tier 1 One Day Cup. And that was our England centrally contracted contingent, who, in case you're wondering, weren't available because they were doing a training squad, doing a training squad? No, doing a training camp and playing an inter squad game. Hmm.
Yeah, I mean, I don't really know what to say because I thought from interviews and from conversations and from social media that the players were going to be available for the first few rounds of the One Day Cup. But then, if I play devil's advocate and look from it from another perspective, that you've got players coming back from injury, you got obviously Sarah Glenn, Lauren Bell has been rested quite a bit. I don't know what, in terms of her, if she's fit, 100% fit or not. Um, but those players were coming into that inter squad game, and I guess if England look at it from a position of they've got their full science and medicine team there, they're able to make sure that their players are on the park in a safe environment where they know they can be pushed to. Because who knows, Sarah Glenn could be back playing for Yorkshire next week. Now maybe she's past some game fitness time or something. We don't know. But I guess it is a little bit frustrating, especially when you see the likes of Danny White-Hodge the week before, absolutely dominate with the bat. To not be involved in Surrey's lineup, like it does change the team's 11 when the England players all of a sudden miss out. The teams in that first round looked exceptionally strong, and I'm not saying they didn't look strong in round two, but there certainly was big gaps in each team, and youngsters obviously have to step up in those positions. Yeah, what's your thoughts?
I think there are several reasons why it frustrated me slightly. First of all, England have played a lot of inter-squad cricket. Obviously, we had that series out in South Africa. They played some games before the season started when they came back in Loughborough. And I think the issue is that those England players are very unlikely in a game of One Day Cup cricket to not be involved. If you're a bowler, you're going to get bowled by your team. If you're a batter, you're probably going to be high enough up the order that you're going to get decent time in the middle of the bat. So I don't see why that isn't favourable and why competitive cricket isn't favourable over an inter-squad game. It's particularly frustrating on the basis that there isn't a midweek game next week. So can you wait? Can you give it a second and then do it next week? And we're already losing them for so much of the season because of the World Cup, which is, don't get me wrong, quite a good reason to lose your England players. But the counties are already going to be without them. And we've had this constant jargon from everyone involved in the game that it's better when the England players are involved because they bring the quality up, which means everyone playing with them or against them is playing better cricket. So why aren't we doing better to have them available when they can be?
Yeah, I guess that's me probably not being aware that they didn't have a game next Wednesday. That in hindsight, this inter-squad game should be next Wednesday, unless they are doing more, and we are going to see another inter-squad game next Wednesday. Who knows? But it is just quite frustrating when they could be out there playing proper competitive cricket in the One Day Cup, which we have seen in these last two rounds have been super competitive, and we've seen some exciting talent come out. So I don't know. I don't really know the answers or why it was done. But it'd be interesting, I guess, Saturday. Are the players going to be back in the squad? Is there another camp? What's going on? What's the reason behind the camps? Yeah, obviously, they're probably the questions we want to know the answers to.
100%. But should we look at the players we did have, Chloe, and welcome back our team of the weeks? You're dreading this. I know you're dreading this.
Yeah, because I probably missed out someone and someone's going to get really upset. But yeah, so we've done round one for tier one and tier two, team of the week, and a round two for tier one. Oh my goodness, that was a tongue twister.
I'm trying again. I don't think that was right. Was that right?
Yeah, that was right.
Oh,
A round one for tier one and two, and a round two for tier
I
one.
apologise, you're
Smashed
so
it.
right. That's how much of a
Absolutely.
tongue twister it was that it broke Rosa's brain in the process.
On my bits of paper earlier, I had to write round one, tier one and two, and then I've had to do a separate paper for round two at tier one. I've definitely missed out players, and I'll tell you what, tier two was extremely hard as well because there were players that you wanted to include in, but then I started to go a bit tactical and be like, what was their strike rate? What was their economy for bowling to like justify their spot in the team? Um, yeah, I don't know. Should we go for tier one, round one?
We should go with tier one, round one, and I want to hear yours first.
Okie dokie. This is my tier one, round one team of the week. So, opening the batting, I've got Ellen McCacken from Hampshire, and our opening partner is Eve Jones from Lancashire. Coming in at number 3, Gabby Lewis from Lancashire. 4, Abby Norgrove, Hampshire. 5, Danny Wyatt Hodge, Surrey. This is a rogue one because she's batting out of position, but there's a reason behind it. Coming in at 6 is Emma Lamb. 7 is my wicketkeeper, Jemima Spence. She didn't keep wicket, but I put her down as wicketkeeper from Surrey. Coming in at 8 is Emily Arlott from Warwickshire. 9, Alex Griffiths from Somerset. 10, Chloe Skelton from Somerset. And 11, Tilly Courtine Coleman from Surrey. And my 12ers are Claudia Cooper and Sophie Luff. But my captain is Eve Jones.
That was a roller coaster, because basically the same, but also not. We've got a
Oh,
different, we've got two players different,
okay, let's
I
hear it.
think. So I have got Ella McCacken and Eve Jones of Hampshire and Lancashire opening the batting, and of course Gabby Lewis of Lancashire at 3. We probably should highlight what she did because we didn't earlier. She just scored a casual 131 off 116 balls, people. And that means she scored consecutive centuries in the One Day Cup because she also scored a century in the final last year. Beautiful. Love it. Gabby, you're a legend. At 4, I've got Jodie Grucock of Essex. That's one of our differences. At 5, Sophie Luff of Somerset. At 6, Danny Wyatt Hodge of Surrey. At 7, Jemima Spence of Surrey, who is also my wicketkeeper, even though she didn't keep. At 8, Emma Arlott of Warwickshire. At 9, Emma Lamb of Lancashire, who's I've put her much further out of position than you. But she did not really score many runs and took a fourfer. So she's sorry, Emma, you're batting at 9. At 10, Alex Griffiths of Somerset. And at 11, Chloe Skelton of Somerset, who both took fourthers. I was looking at that Somerset scorecard and I was thinking, whew. And at 12, I've gone for Rachel Slater of Yorkshire. I know they lost, but it was a handy 2 for 29. Really almost pulled them back into it. And I was very aware that there weren't many bowlers on my team, so we might need one on the bench.
Yeah, I've certainly gone quite spin heavy with Chloe Skelton, Tilly Courtine Coleman, Emma Lamb. I think my seamers, I'm going to have to try and get 10 overs here out of Emma Arlott and Alex Griffiths. But tell you what, it's not a bad start to round one for tier one team of the week. I think we also need to highlight Danny Wyatt Hodge scoring 124 off 80 balls as well. She absolutely dominated that innings for Surrey as well.
That was a stunning innings from Danny White Hodge. I was there. Um, I don't think anyone appreciates that she kept hitting the ball into the building site, but it's fine. We can forgive her. For those who don't know, Edgbaston, there's a hole in the side of the ground. They've taken out a stand. They're adding a hotel, and they've not put any form of like net up against where the building site is. The ball went in there 7 times during the Surrey Warwickshire game, Chloe. 7 times.
It is a short boundary at certain points, so yeah, fair play to her to be honest for clearing the ropes, and feel a bit sorry for the ground staff or for the people having to go and retrieve the balls. But what a knock that was from her.
Do you have a player of the round for round one? Is there someone who particularly stood out for you from your 11?
Yeah, I think my play of the round for that has got to be Gabby Lewis for Lancashire with her 131.
See, this is really difficult because Gabby Lewis is the obvious answer, but I want to give Jemima Spence her flowers. You know, she has really struggled with injury last year or so, couldn't really break into the Surrey team last year because of injury. It's a tough team to break into. They had 3 England players available. She wasn't wicket keeping and she still made the 11. and just the handy 79 or 48. So Jemima Spence, you're a queen. We love you.
Love that. You can start with tier two's round one team of the week because I want to hear yours first.
I dug myself into a hole with this because I could have gone first last time and we could have moved past this shambles of a tier two team of the week.
Good luck.
This was really hard, everyone. I had about six players who could have made it in. Tier two, you're all phenomenal. You made it a very difficult gig picking an 11, but we've given it a go and no going back now. Opening the batting and my captain, I've got Lauren Parfitt of Glamorgan. She got the 56. That isn't why I have her in the team. I will explain more on that briefly. With her, Abby Wybrow of Middlesex, and then at three, Chloe. Hello there, you're in. Chloe Hill of Northants for her cheeky half century. At four, I've got Meg Austin, who, absolutely belted it for Northants on loan from tier one. We should highlight her too, 123. At five, Bethan Gammon of Glamorgan. At six, Lucy Weston of Leicestershire. At seven, Anna May Shern of Glamorgan. At eight, Poppy Walker of Glamorgan. At nine, Hannah Davis of Middlesex. At 10, Emma Thatcher of Leicestershire. She only bowled 5 overs at 2 for 17, but I think Sussex were like 4 for 2 because of her bowling, so she had to go in. And then at 11, Megan Bout of Kent for a fifer. She was the easiest person to put in the team. And then at 12, this was really hard, Chloe. I've got so many I want to shout out, but my 12th is Bella Johnson of Sussex for her cheeky 68 not out. She was the only player who really scored runs for them. But I'm so sorry, Lenny Sims, Coco Street, Brooke Halliday, and Georgina Start. You're all awesome. You couldn't make it in.
Okay. So, I didn't know whether to put myself in it or not. So, I've got a question mark. I've got myself and another player in at the same spot because I didn't think it was right to pick myself. So maybe now you've said me, I won't say me. Let me just cross myself. Oh no, wait, because I'm the keeper.
Chloe's dug herself into a hole here, people.
I'm gonna have to play because I'm the keeper. Ah, sorry. Okay, I'm in. Who's your keeper and captain?
Captain Lauren Parfitt, you can keep. Beautiful. There you go.
Thanks. So like you said that, like you had no other choice.
Oh
right.
God, I dug myself into a hole here, everyone. No,
Be
the
quiet.
goat, Chloe Hill. Chloe Hill's my keeper. Woo!
Mute yourself. This is my tier two team of the week for round one. Okay. Opening the batting, I've got Coco Street of Kent with Abby Wybrow from Middlesex. Coming in at number 3 for her fantastic first list day 100 of 123 is Meg Austin for Northants on loan. 4, I've dropped myself down from opening to 4th. I'm coming in at 4th as the wicketkeeper. 5, Kelly Castle from Kent. 6, Bella Johnson from Sussex. 7, Caitlin Chisel, because I was lacking bowlers and I think her excellent 30 for Leicestershire in the middle orders was fantastic. 8, Hannah Davis from Middlesex, her 1 for 12 of 9 overs, may I add. 9, my captain, Megan Bout from Kent for her fifer. 10, Anna May Shern from Morgan. And 11, Poppy Walker from Glamorgan. And my 12ers, I have 2, is Lenny Sims from Northants and Lauren Parfitt from Glamorgan. And that is my tier 2 team of the week.
It's actually pretty similar. I mean, I'm going to be honest, my batting order died a painful death as soon as I got past batters. But we move. Yeah, I dug myself into a hole there. Coco Streets has been very unlucky for me not to get in, but she hasn't got in because of Lauren Parfitt. And the reason that Lauren Parfitt is in as my captain is she was just like her captaincy was just superb. The fielding placements for all of her bowlers were excellent. There were no gaps. Gloucestershire could not find any gaps. It applied so much additional pressure. So even though that won't be written when I do the graphics, you get the exclusive listening to the pod. as to why she's got in. But it was tough, wasn't it? It was difficult.
Yeah, I went for Coco Street open batting because she actually batted beautifully. Didn't really give any chances until the delivery she got out on. Um, and it was so funny actually because obviously all the Northants batters that went out, and then obviously me keeping it up to the stumps, all the Kent batters kept turning around to me going, "This wicket is so nice, isn't it? This wicket is so nice." So I think like it was a batting paradise, and for her to go on and like capitalise and score the 70 odd that she did, I think was fantastic. But no, I'm happy with both tier two sides there. Shall we finish the last team of the week with our round two tier one?
You should. And this time you're going first again.
No
Good luck.
worries. Fine. Are we ready? So, opening the batting, I've got Davina Perrin from Warwickshire with Paige Schofield from Surrey. Coming at 3, and my wicketkeeper is Talia Wilson from Durham. 4, my captain Holly Armitage from Durham. 5, Emma Lamb from Lancashire. 6, Caris Pavley from Warwickshire. 7, Maitland Brown from Surrey. 8, Callian Moore from Surrey. 9, Charlie Phillips from the Blaze. 10, Grace Ballinger from the Blaze. And 11, Tilly Courtine Coleman from Surrey. And my 12er is ADR Alice Davison Richard from Surrey, who just missed out being in that playing 11. But I'm actually very happy with that team of the week for round 2. Good
If you
luck.
can't tell everyone, Surrey had a really good game. They did have a really Surrey were unreal. We had exactly the
I
same
wait.
team and then it went really wayward.
I do want to give shout outs to Amu, Meg Austin, Katie George from Warwickshire, all with 50s. Warwickshire's top 6, I think it was, all got half centuries. Top 5 all got half centuries. So for those 3, sorry, not to get in my team of the week. Obviously, it's tough, but no, very very happy with the team I went with.
It's a great team. You wouldn't want to play them, would you? I certainly wouldn't in any bowling or batting. But then again, there's a reason I talk about the cricket. My tier one, round two team of the week. It is confusing, isn't it? We might need to find a better way to word it. Is Davina Perrin opening the batting alongside Talia Wilson, who is also my wicketkeeper, Warwickshire and Durham. 152 not out. It was a stunning innings. 10 out of 10. Talia, shout out to you. Second game in the UK, already smashing it. Paige Schofield comes in at 3 from Surrey. At 4, and my captain, Holly Armitage of Durham. At 5, Emma Lamb of Lancashire. At 6, Caris Pavley of Warwickshire. Cheeky 63 not out from 38. At 7, this is when we started going different. I've got Jodie Grewcock of Essex. I needed some more bowling, so she's come in 77 and 1 for 34. At 8, Carly Moore of Surrey. At 9, Tilly Courtine Coleman of Surrey. And then I've got a Blaze duo to finish off at 10 and 11 of Grace Ballinger and Kirsty Gordon. Kirsty Gordon with a cheeky 2 for 39 and really good captaincy. My 12 is a bit rogue and on paper probably doesn't make sense, but let me explain. I've got Maddie Ward of Yorkshire who took 3 to 38 from 5. It's a lot of runs to concede, but the way she came back, she had her first 2 overs were not good. She then came back and took 3 really crucial wickets to pull Yorkshire slightly back into that game after a really difficult game last weekend. I was really impressed with her. She's a young player, still coming through, a lot of pressure on her shoulders, and I loved the way she owned it and then went on to take those wickets.
No, fair enough. I think we were pretty similar, really, with our round 2 tier 1 team of the week. So can't complain there. That was eventful, to say the least. I think to finish, we just have some contract extensions just to whiz through for you.
We do indeed. Do you want to start by telling people what the Blaze have been up to? Because my word, Chloe, they've been busy.
Yeah, the Blaze announced theirs all in one go, which was quite nice. So they have announced Ella Claridge, Georgia Elwes, Charlie Phillips, and Cassidy McCarthy have contract extensions to 2027. Also, young Liv Baker and Prisha Tanawala. Contract extensions till 2028 as well, and those two are two young, exciting. I guess sort of they transitioned through the academy into the first team as well, so really, really exciting talent. And Georgie Boyce has gone on loan to Yorkshire.
Indeed. And then at Somerset, we've had 3 extensions. Chloe Skelton has extended until 2028, along with Liv Barnes, and Emma Corney has extended to the end of 2027.
And finally, Lancashire have announced that their captain, Ellie Threlkeld, is with them till 2028, which I'm sure they'll be rather pleased about, to have a few more years of Ellie Threlkeld behind the stumps and captaining the side. But some really, really good contract extension. I think we're going to see more and more, to be honest, throughout the rest of the season, as a few more players' contracts will be coming to the end this season, which will be exciting.
It will indeed. And that's all we have for you. It was a bit of a chaotic one on our part. Can you tell it was the first week of the season, people? We were very excited.
I think it's going to sound better than what we did. But no, yeah, that was actually rather chaotic, especially trying to fit in 3 rounds of One Day Cup across Tier 1 and Tier 2. And next week, we will bring you, obviously, any standout performances from Tier 3 as they start their Vitality Blast campaign this weekend. And obviously, we'll see some more One Day Cup from Tier 1 and Tier 2 this weekend as well.
We will indeed. Thank you so much for joining us, and we will see you next week.
See you later. Thank you so much. Thanks for listening to this week's Two Tiers Deep. If you like to find me, Chloe Hill, you can find myself on Instagram with a new Instagram page covering this podcast at Two Tiers Deep CH. Or I'll pass you over Rosa to find herself at
Rosa Talks Ball. Or if you have any questions, you can contact us on rosatalksball@gmail.com. And please don't hesitate to get in touch.